What's up, everybody? We are coming back to you live after this recording as I am driving to school again. So, I wanted to talk about a strange phenomenon that seems to happen to me whenever I learn something. And I was curious if anybody out there, especially INTPs, if you have come across this same interesting, I don't know if phenomenon is the right word, but way about learning things. So, I guess I can cover a couple different things, but the first one is if something makes sense finally. I've been banging my brain against something and it finally clicks and it makes sense. I'll be able to learn about a whole bunch of things about the subject, whatever it may be. So maybe something more specific for me is when I was at film school and I was trying to understand like how to structure like plots and like how does certain plot devices and structures actually correlate in the real world. Because I wanted to see or know why certain plot structures actually affect the mind the way they do, because they come from somewhere, they're not just random, and so how does it connect in the real world? But anyway, finally it started to make sense, and I was so excited, and so I'm like gorging in all of this knowledge and making connections and being able to recall names and like technical terms and all that stuff. And then about 2 weeks later, I will completely forget everything. I wouldn't be able to recall anything I've been saying the whole time, even though I've been saying it nearly on repeat, writing it, and all that stuff. And yeah, one day, it completely vanquishes into thin air. And it always scares me. But then what I found out was that later on, if I'm like writing like a script, I would find that I would actually start naturally implementing those things, but not cognitively. It's like it became part of my understanding naturally. It feels natural now. It doesn't feel like a second hand of information that I have to like tap into in order to use it. It actually feels like it is a part of just my knowledge and understanding, as if it was like naturally or just natural. And I always thought that was amazing. And I was wondering if anyone out there had the same thing where they might be learning something and then they'll at one time actually forget everything that they've learned in a way. Like you can't recall it cognitively, but it actually almost is now a part of your subconscious, and it now governs how you do things. Or like if you're about to do the product or whatever you're doing that you've been learning for so long, like for scripts for me, and it just naturally would start to come out, and that's when I would recognize, oh, so I didn't forget it, I actually somehow learned it, but now I can't really recall it, but it's now, and I guess I'm circling, but I want to see if anyone out there was like that. And another thing that I've found out, or not found out, just kind of recognized, was that I would be, I was in high school, and we were doing logarithms. And I've discovered that if I know something really well off the top, like right up front, it's going to be bad for me later for some reason. Or even physically, if I can perform a physical thing like throwing like disc golf or frisbee golf, if I can do it really well up front, it will take, a little while until I completely forget on how to perform or do in my mind something. And there's road construction, and I don't want to run over the people. I smiled and waved at him, and he had a mustache, and he was like, "Slow down!" Like, I'm sorry. But anyway. So the logarithms, I was the only person that just naturally understood how the logarithms worked in my class, my high school class, and we had a substitute teacher. And the substitute teacher didn't really know how to explain logarithms, and so I was like, sweet, let me do it. And so I taught the class, or at least tried it the best I can. It was in high school, so me trying to communicate thoughts, and I thought it sounded great, but it might not have, I don't know, whatever. I was told it sounded fine by the students. but I was able to teach it, the ins and outs of it. It just clicked. It made sense. And then, like a week later or 2 weeks later, I completely forgot how to do them. I had no idea where to start. I look at a logarithm problem and not have a single clue what to do with it, and which was so embarrassing because my classmates knew that I knew these really well at one time, and so they'll ask me questions when they run across a logarithm problem, and I had no clue. I just kind of looked at them and like, I'm sorry, I don't know, and they probably thought I was, I don't know, pulling their leg or just being mean or something like that, but no, I literally actually completely forgot how to do the logarithms, any of them, at that time. So that was embarrassing. I was wondering if maybe somehow you guys have experienced that. And so yeah, like with physical stuff, I might be able to throw like a frisbee really well, and within like a few throws, maybe it's because now I'm trying to cognitively do it, but I'll completely look like an idiot, just like throwing something completely sideways, wrong, or whatever. So just a strange phenomenon that I have to figure out what to do with. And this guy is riding my butt. Oh, there he is. Oh, I think he backed off a little bit because he knew. He's like, he's pulling up a camera. Anyway, so I would love to hear your guys' thoughts. If any of you have had similar experiences, INTPs, more than, or other MBTI groups, and let me know what you think in the comments section, or you can say it to yourself, and I will Jedi-powerly listen to what you have to say. Anyway, I'm almost at school, so I will see y'all in the next video. Beep!